What is your impression before you finally join the industry?
Actually, it's not really negative in my case, but not also positive.
How to come to the level like you are so sure nothing can shake you from this industry? What advice can you give to our friends in this industry?
The best way, according to me, when you do something, put all your energy, your heart is there. I believe you will be somebody in that industry.
Hello, Pak Onggi. Long time no see.
Hi, Chiming. You look totally different. You're in somewhere in the world. You are in the corner of the world. Is that?
How is my new hairstyle? Sorry if I can ask you for honest answer.
Look like a Shaolin Kung Fu master lah. I think because you are in Pacific now, become Kung Fu master already.
Are you still in Jakarta or?
Now Singapore still not yet open for the foreigner. Yeah, only for PR.
Yeah. Anyway, me too lah. Same situation here. So I think we can understand each other very well this time more than any.
Maybe both of us we can cry together at the same time. So why we cry?
I think this last 6 months only I can understand how you and me feel compared to the rest of the men in the world.
I think so.
Yeah, just want to ask you some question since we have time. Is it okay?
It's okay. So I can ask you too.
Yeah. Yes. So my turn first because I know your time is very precious, so I should try to get hold of your time. Because I think I was thinking back of myself 15 years ago when I joined the business. I mean, how I come to know this network marketing industry. So question is, what is your impression before you finally join the industry? I mean, like for me, I have a negative impression about this from my school friend. Okay, a few of my school friend, and that time I was less than 19 years old. So I have my negative impression was because my schoolmate they left school because of MLM. So at that point of time where I am eagerly studying for university, I thought they were crazy, and like after all they gave up and then they didn't make it to school and then they didn't make it in MLM. So my impression before joining is negative. So I just wondering what impression about this business before you finally join the first company or whatsoever. What's your impression?
Actually, it's not really negative in my case, but not also positive, because actually in 1986 somebody introduced me MLM when I was in the university times as a student. Funny thing, that time I only buy product. Until today I don't know what kind of pieces they are until today.
Okay.
Not too much negative, but still question mark, what is this? Luckily, I was introduced by the first mentor in this business. I can see my first mentor graduated from London. He is also an MBA and working in the big bank in Malaysia. He is a branch manager it's a big bank, it's a big name. So at time I see, if he graduated from London as an MBA and branch manager and full-time in the business, it could be something. And not really positive at the beginning.
I know why in the end, that little click from negative to positive. So can you share with me that turning point? There must be one thing that changed your mindset about this industry that get you to sign the paper and to be serious, I mean, to joining the business again. So what was that impression that caused you to?
If talking about sign in because of friendship also, the one who introduced me is my colleagues in the company. And another thing, I can see that MLM is good. He spoke to me many times about how good MLM is, because I mean that company, the company. Sister, before working in the company, after 3 years part-time and full-time, now go around the world. When he mentioned go around the world, that is my dream actually. I want to travel the world because I working so many years, never travel anywhere. That's why there is not the turning point to start the business, but that one is sign up the paper, like you say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I understand. Yeah, because for me is because very simple lah. That time I was young. I want to drive a sports car at young age. So when I saw them driving sports car, the negative impression just disappear in 1 second already.
So
Yeah.
both of us actually the same. Your dream is the car. My dream is travel around the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So because like I thought that like many people have a very bad impression of MM before they join. So actually for you it's not so negative lah. It's quite
Yeah.
neutral lah for you, I would say.
Yeah, quite neutral. You know why? Because at that time, 1992, I joined the first company I do the business. The first time I joined only by product actually.
Yeah.
And at that time, network marketing in Indonesia is not that popular yet, and not a lot of people understand about network marketing. So not a lot of negative information. Yeah, about at that time. Yeah.
I see. Okay, so but another very interesting thing, because I know you for 12 years. Yeah. So when I know you, you are already an amazing leader. I am just wondering at which point of time you find out that you have to devote your life to this business. Like you really sure 100 or 1000% sure that this is most amazing business in the world in your life already. Like you have to go all out for this business. Is there a person that caused you to realize this, or an event or something that happened, or any incident, or can you share with me, like how did you find out that MLA is for your life already?
Yeah. I still remember the incident actually at that time working in the company. So when my mentor came from Malaysia, then I say you better stay at my home. So call my home because that time is I working as a company home actually. I have a empty, so you better stay here rather than stay in hotel. So one day in the morning I woke up a little bit late. So he already woke up, read book something like that, newspaper, and he said like this, "Hey Ongi, where are you going?" "I'm going to office lah." Actually, he knew I'm going to the office. Then I think this man. Then he said, "For me, every day is holiday." You know, only he said like this. For me, every day is holiday. During that moment on the way to the office, normally I talk to the driver. Normally we have the conversation on the way to the office, but that day I totally silent. Totally silent. Actually, what is wrong with me? Busy already 9 years working in the big company, never go anywhere. Meanwhile, this man go around the world helping people. I think must be something wrong with my job now, my position like this. I think, okay, I want to be like this man. Something like talk to myself, like, I want to be like this man. And before that, also so many inspiration from the cassette. That day is cassette, still cassette. I don't know if you remember the cassette time. He also passed to me so many document or something for magazine to read regarding people's success in network marketing. Wow, I see. This is called freedom. This is called freedom. Then that day, believe it or not, I decided, I say, for whatever reason, I must success in this industry, no matter what. That day, I decided. Until today, I committed to to doing this business. Yeah, at the simple. Yeah.
So you mean that day where he spoke to you this way, that same day you commit yourself in the heart that you must
Yeah.
be, I mean, full heart in this business.
It is true. So as I say before, also listen cassette, also talk to him because I want to know more why this man resigned from his job. At the time, I didn't understand what is called network marketing. In my mind, still selling product, introduce people to join our business. I didn't understand yet. That's why I wanted to know what is this network marketing. He spoke to me. Then I found out, okay, if this man graduated in from London and working in the big company and resign from his job must be something. Got so many information already about network marketing, and that moment I decided. I say, okay, enough. Then I decided. I say, for whatever reason, now I must take the commitment to do the business. Since that day, then I focus on the network marketing. So after the commitment, after maybe about 2 years in that company, then I decided 1994. I did full time network marketing until today. Oh yeah, of course after that is the challenging actually.
Okay, but the question I want to ask you just now is like this, because when you share just now, I think I assume the first time you get this confirmation is when you are still new in the industry. Am I right or not?
Yeah, I'm
Like
still
just now you say consider newbie in the industry lah. Am I right?
consider new.
It's your first moment of realization, but I think that feeling is more of inspirational by external factor, correct or not? Like you are inspired by upline leader of you, correct or not? Like you know what I'm trying to say, right? You are inspired by him, then you come into the business, like to
Yeah,
be 100% full heart in the business, correct or not?
yeah, inspired by my upline, yes. And also another goal, already tired working in the office for 9 years. It's very stressful. In my department, there is about 20,000 people. So when
Wow.
my boss traveling, I have a lot of pressure handle because I can represent the boss in some certain. That's why if something happen, I must take the responsibility. That is not easy. That time I was so young also. And in this business, every networker at the time they're talking freedom, 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 freedom. That what inspired me actually.
Okay, my next question is related to why I asked you this question, because uh, I can relate because like I'm inspired, like you say, give all my best after I realized that I can buy a sports car. Like you can get your freedom or going holiday and you are tired of the situation, then you go all out for the ML industry. Okay, my question is this: is there another reason, another period where you are double sure, but it's different from being inspired by others? What
Yeah,
was the reason? Another reason?
your question actually is very deep. Normally people never ask this
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of. So this is very deep. Yeah, I mean it. Actually, in certain level, not inspired by my own dream anymore. I still remember
Yeah.
in 2000. In 2000, I totally financially free. I enjoyed the passive income non-stop since 2000 until today. In 2000, when I totally financially free, then I had the feeling that I want to pay back to the society. Pay back in the sense of because I
Mm.
exactly know where I came from. I meaning when I joined the business. Actually, I never travel around the world at the time. Never. The first time, the network marketing, which country I went to is your country, Singapore. My first passport job by your government. I still remember the first
Wow.
passport job in the immigration. The immigration is just open empty. He just
Yeah,
not
yeah.
no need to see. He just check like this and go. Then what a little bit, I think, okay, next time I will come with a full of job of them. And I made it happen. True. I made it happen. Twice your government don't allow me to go in. He say your passport is full. Your passport is full. You must go back. I say, okay, can I meet your supervisor? And he brought me to the supervisor. And I thought, I know you're the supervisor. You're very good. Otherwise, you are not the supervisor. I know you can find a way to let me in. You know. Then he take the job and job. Then I think, okay, pay off. Yeah, just kidding. I still remember the first time. They don't need to see. Go back to the question actually. Yeah, because I never travel the world, so I was so poor financially. Then, and my leadership was so poor. My people skill was so poor. In short, all aspect of my life changed by this industry. Yeah, because I interacted with different kind of people that actually teach me a lot, a lot about
Mm.
life, including spiritual. That's why I grow so many aspects. Then in 2000, I say I must do something. That's why since that day, I focus to raise up people in the sense of conduct a lot of training, fly this city to this city. At that time, not so much go around the world, go to other countries. Most of the time, I flew to many city in Indonesia. And after maybe after 2003, we started the boot camp. So the boot camp is part of my contribution, I can say. Yeah, including the
I see.
support system effort.
So you mean that just to be sure, what you are saying is the second period or phase of MLM is where you want to give back what you have received from this industry lah. That is why you are double firm that MLM is really the right business for your life. Correct? Just
Yeah,
want to
very,
confirm what you are saying.
very,
Yes.
very true. First period actually only dream, goal and dream. My goal is my income
Yeah.
can equal to my company income. I will stop at the time I say. And another goal, I want to travel other countries. There's a goal. Then slowly my dream come true. I can bought my first property. Then I can drive my beautiful car. Then traveling and so on. So meaning my dream one by one come true. So I think that's the second step, more to the mission and vision of my life already.
Yes.
Yeah, if you travel with me together to many country, many city, you can feel what I feel. I still remember one time with you. We went to PNG. Right, we went to PNG. I still remember we walked to the something like meeting room, function room, of course in PNG function room, and there's a very big poster, if I'm not mistaken, with my picture over there, and they mention, "Welcome, Pak Ongyi. You touch the untouched." Inside my heart,
Paradise.
paradise. I cry. I cry. I mean, it's a happy tears. I can see when I can do something helping people, and also with a team together to helping people. I think this is good. Very, very fantastic. It's not me alone.
Yes.
I still remember the time we went together with you and Florent and Juliani, if not mistaken.
Yeah.
So so this is beautiful, beautiful. Like you in Singapore, we are Indonesia. We flew to the Pacific. The feeling, money cannot exchange this one feeling. I think that's why this kind of, like you say, double. I have so many times when double chop, including when people sharing on the stats. I can see they grow. You are one of them actually, Chimi. DNA in Cambodia. You sharing that one also touching me a lot. That one also another confirm double chop for me that yes, this is the answer. This is the business. It's nothing to do with money anymore. Nothing to do with money anymore. If you can see people can grow that kind of aspect of life. But you totally grow so many aspects. Maybe you don't realize the first time we meet, you were 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's totally be different, Shiming.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one also make me like okay. Meaning the FFG now, we already in the right track. Yeah.
So, wow, really is learn so much from you. So, I think the next question very relevant to what you are sharing now is even for me, I don't say like I'm a leader. When I compare myself to you, I'm like ikan bili lah. So,
No lah, you are
for
yeah.
yeah. Okay, no, but I just want to ask, for a lot of new people, newbies, what advice can you give if they are not sure MLM is for them? What would you say to our friends who are in the business, but they are in a situation whereby they are finding out an answer. What would you say to them?
And I can say that open mind first. If you don't open mind, it's difficult to accept something new. Humbleness is very important. Sometimes people really close mind. They thought they know already, that they didn't want to learn more. Actually, like myself, until today, I'm still learning
Mm.
about network marketing. Even in 28
Mm.
years in this industry, because you will never stop learning in this industry, because this business is more about people. People business is very fantastic.
Mm.
When talking about learning people, even today, you cannot understand who is your wife. Am I correct? Even you sleep with her so many years, you kids sometimes,
Yes.
even even the father,
Yes. Yes.
mother,
Yes.
yeah, it's a fantastic thing.
Even
If people,
ourselves.
in ourselves too. Even sometimes I also ask, who am I? Like Jackie Chan, who am I?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
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 Sometimes the confusion can come out, in some certain, sometimes can come to confusion. It's normal. That's why I say, like you upload also ever say, people, if you love people, you must love this industry. That is correct. And
Mm.
like now, Chiming, now, for example, in this COVID-19, if you just go to the whatever YouTube channel or social media, Facebook and Instagram, what you're talking about live today, or if you go to the even
Mm.
CNN, whatever the TV and any TV in the world, now all the news is talking about a crisis, and how many people, how many company bankrupt. Even in my country, so many company now bankrupt, and so on, all over the world.
Yes.
So what
Mm.
happened to for those who are only depends on active income? On the other hand,
Yeah.
I can see FFG leaders, including you, okay, you have the peaceful mind. Because I know, because you already, first, mentally already well trained. Secondly, you have the passive income aside of from FFG. Of course, the earning you invest back in another passive income. I mean passive income. So this passive income actually earning money. So peaceful mind. Today, peaceful mind is expensive. Even today, a lot of big business now, they're really in the difficult situation. Even they are doing it in the B quadrant. You know what happened today? Even like Pizza Hut, in Jakarta, they go to the street to sell the product. This also a struggle. Even they invest the business, this kind of business owner. Now they are talking how to handle. And even one of the biggest now in Jakarta, they closed down already. And I heard yesterday in Bali, the biggest one also they closed down. So meaning maybe they have the passive income, but don't have the feeling of free, the feeling, the freedom of that kind of feeling, peaceful mind. This is our industry actually. Mean if people can see what we have done, what our leader already enjoy, I don't think people will reject
Mm.
our business. Yeah.
Wow. Really,
Mhm.
but is this COVID-19 actually I don't know, it's God's plan lah, but it really in some way really bring out the how to say bring out the goodness of our industry. I don't know you agree or not. Yeah, this COVID-19 can really show the strength, the power of MLM or this network marketing.
It's very true. Just this morning, Pasuji, because tomorrow I also have the talk show
Yeah.
with Pasuji like you. And he talked to me. I want to talk about how blessed we are in this industry compared with his friend doing the conventional business. He say now all the wife came out, sell anything what they can sell. Even they can earn 1 million rupiah, they are happy like hell already today. They say so serious. Yeah, they say they are businessmen. They're considered quite big businessmen. Now even they can earn 1 million, the wife can go out sell something, online sell something, they can earn 1 million rupiah. They feel so good already. What does it mean? It
Wow.
means that it's very stressful today.
Mm.
Maybe they can compare the company losing money. Now they can earn 1 million. It's about the feeling. It's about the feeling. Oh, I can still can earn money. On the other hand, they are losing money, losing money. Imagine if you have the what you call the outlet, you have
Yeah,
100
outlet.
outlet, 100 outlet, 200 outlets, and so on. And each outlet you lose 1 million, 2 million, 10 million. Can you imagine?
Mm.
It's a huge money. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's
yeah,
very, very stressful, I think. Very,
yeah.
very stressful for conventional business. Yeah. So, because this is very important, the last question, maybe I know you
Okay,
you have your schedule. Just one question.
yeah.
Just to sum up, for people who want to make MLM their life, but not yet they are finding out ways. What can you advise them to do or to think? How to come to that level like you. You understand? Like you are so sure nothing can shake you from this industry. Like they are trying to reach your level, not just successful in terms of money or achievement, but just to that level, the mindset, to accept MLM in their life. Like, okay, nothing can shake me off from this industry. What advice, maybe this is my last question, can you give to our friends in this industry, what to do or something like that?
The best way, according to me, when you do something, put all your energy, your heart is there. I believe you will be somebody in that industry. I give simple example. In football, we know we have Pele. Okay. In boxing, we have Muhammad Ali.
Pele.
Okay, Muhammad Ali. Maybe in
Yes.
playing music, we have the Kenny G. What's the difference Kenny G and the rest? What's the different Pele and the rest? What's the different Muhammad Ali and the rest? In our country, we have Rudy Hartono. What's the different Rudy Hartono and the rest? This legend, when they do something, they just focus, put all the heart there, discipline. Even sometimes they don't like the process at the beginning. Could be like Muhammad Ali always say, I don't like go to training, but I must do so if I want to be the champion. So they know what they are doing. They know what exactly they are doing. They love whatever they do. Once this is the key. Whatever you focus on will expand. For example, now because from 1992, I really focus. I never see other opportunity. I don't want to disturb my mind. I just stick in network marketing. I just focus. If you watch my movie at the moment, my wife, I say later you apply job again, working in the office and so on. Yes, I did only make her happy. Actually, I sent some application for the job. My heart is not there. My heart's still in network marketing. That's why when you focus something, will expand. That is a key. And of course, on the process, you start loving. I believe in your level now. Live your life in this industry already. Once you live your life in that industry, like you, it's not easy. Singaporean, for example, you are Singaporean. And secondly, you are so young. You travel to the Pacific. You travel to Pacific. Maybe a lot of people don't know what is Pacific. They never went there. Like, because I went there, I understand the Pacific situation. But like you in Singapore, spend your time in Pacific. But the price you pay actually is not only the return now, the reward for you is the money. Actually, the best reward for you is about your life. It's about your life. It's about the essence of your life. So you find the passion of your life, meaning the value of you. Yeah, the purpose of your life. Even you flew to Pacific, you cannot enjoy the facility like you enjoy the facility in Singapore. So how many people can do so if you don't know exactly your passion? Come from the very, very what you call the Singapore, go to Pacific, the facility is like totally different, but you still keep on going. But today we can see that the whole Pacific is under you. So you see, whatever the price you pay will never be what you call disappointed. That's what I believe. Always pay off.
So much to learn, just a short conversation with you. So amazing. I think I learn so much from you every time I speak to you.
Actually, indirectly, you don't realize it. I also learn a lot from you. This is the beautiful of our industry. We learn from each other actually indirectly. Of course, you are not teaching me directly actually, because I can see your action step by step until today. Actually, I learn a lot from you. If I were you, just say I were Singaporean, could be I will not fly to Pacific. You spend how many days over there? Could be, but you did. But you did it. You see how excellent that
Not
is.
easy,
No, not easy. Unless maybe you live in Papua, Indonesia, Irian, you go there, maybe okay, more or less the same, But Singapore, Singapore is one of the expensive city in the world.
Just saw the photo my mom take yesterday at the Changi Airport, Jewel. Already remind me so many things already.
True.
Anyway, but yeah, really so thankful for the time that we have together. I know it's not easy that we can speak so much together. Really, really, really thank God that we have this time together. I want to say, but God bless you and your family. I really hope my government can allow you to in soon.
Maybe you must call your prime minister. Let Pak Onggi go in. Also, Siming, maybe you can ask your minister call to the Solomon Islands. You're in Solomon, yes? True.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you call to your Solomon.
I already wrote to the embassy. Actually, I wrote to the embassy already.
Yeah, maybe prime minister call. Okay, let Siming go back to Singapore. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ming. My pleasure
anyway.
talking to you. It's my pleasure, and we share each other, then we can learn each other.
Yeah. I think in my last 12 years, I never see you back for more than 6 months. Really.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
My last 12 years, I never see you for 6 months. I think never. The longest, I think 2 months lah.
Yeah, true. Okay, Ming, you take care in Solomon. Send my best regard, the family in Solomon,
Yeah.
and send my best regard to your
Yeah.
wife and your mother, father, and the family.
Yeah. Thank you. But
You.
same to you, your family. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we find another schedule to talk lah, Pak Onggi.
Okay.
If you are,
Of course, we will talk in the near future. Could be another
Yeah.
talk show.
I hope to sit beside you and not sit in front of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Pak.
Yeah, thank you.
Good night.
Good night, Ming.
Manusia kan unik sekali ya dan sulit dimengerti gitu loh. Tapi pada intinya Pak Onggi udah menemukan rahasianya gitu.
Karena untuk menyembuhkan orang salah satu yang terpenting ada invisible burden, beban-beban yang tidak kelihatan mata itu. Yang terbaik bisa menyentuh secara kasih, Pak. Menyentuh mereka dengan perhatian dan kasih sayang.
Itu kok saya yakin benar-benar Pak Onggi sampaikan tadi, itu semua proses itu yang membentuk Pak Onggi sekarang ini kan.
Ya, saya hanya bilang bahwa bisnis ini menarik buat saya karena banyak value-value kehidupan yang kita dapatkan di bisnis ini.